live. Unless you're watching this on the replay, make sure you hit the thumbs up on the way in or on the way out. Make sure you hit the thumbs down if you hate my guts and want me to die. Make sure you subscribe at least. I don't care if you want me to die or not. Always subscribe. And yeah, got our Iron Maiden coffee mug. This is my favorite coffee mug. I found this at a truck stop in Cuba, Missouri. Today's going to be a tough day for me, but we'll give an update on the truck, and we're going to give an update of what's going on with me, and you know, talk about the struggle of life, because that's been kind of our deal here. My wife and I had a really good discussion this morning. You know, one of my favorite routines when I'm home is that my wife and I get these really good discussions in the morning. You know, we've been married 20 years, 21 years, and we've been together for 23. We were together for 2 years before we decided to get married. And then we've known each other since our 20s. And we can still have really good, deep discussions as a couple about life, about what's going on, about everything, you know. And it keeps our relationship alive, you know. We're not one of these old couples that just refuses to talk to each other in the morning, you know. We're not one of these, you know, why are we even together kind of couples. You know, we've got a really good marriage. But we've had our struggles, you know. That's the thing. You know, all relationships have struggles, whether it be, you know, parent, child, you know, or spouse, you know. We all do and say things that we regret, you know. Can't get that out of the picture there. All right, so let me get this on the other phone. We'll do some shout outs. Getting some Sam Sarah alerts. Deal with them in a minute after the live feed. Let's see, let's get this on YouTube. We'll do some shout outs. I appreciate everybody that's come in. And I appreciate the well wishes. We're going through some stuff, not anything major, not anything bad, but definitely a test of emotional strength, right? So, Big Rig Radio Network, Jeff, you are first. Look at that. Jeff is first in this live feed. Look, man, happy birthday. Everybody wish Jeff a happy birthday. Yesterday was his birthday. He's like, I think 82 or something now. Give him your birthday wishes. Do what I like to do. I like to send that Nelson, haha, you're old. You know, I like to send that picture. I didn't send him that picture yet, but I figured, I'll be easy on the guy this week. RN, what's up? Anthony Bressler, Nittany Lion. Other Trucker James says, finally. This is the small window of time I got to do YouTube, because this is the calm before the storm I'm getting ready to go through. Now, we'll do some carnivore updates. We're still doing that, still strong on that. Despite the temptations that have been thrust in front of me, but we're still doing good. Salty Pirate TV's Hot Stocks, good morning. Scott SRO Logistics, Donnie Luke. Top Dog Logistics, what's up? I like that. I like that name, Top Dog Logistics. That's pretty cool. Big Houston, Jonathan Wheeler, Anthony Bressler, Maiden, YouTube with Attitude, what's up? I'm using the Jeff Yeti. Mine's full of water right now. It'll go with me probably to to my mom's. Jose, what's up? Thomas Wilson, good morning, Steve. You made it, finally. There you go. Let's see. Great Freight Sage Logic, Eric. What's up? Day Cab Gear Jammer, at least you have coffee. It's a good start. Yep, got the coffee. I got this bird that's yelling at me. It's better than being out front with all the traffic. I need a soundproof room. I guess that's what makes it exciting, though, right? You know, these Galaxy phones have pretty decent audio, and so it's not like, you know, I like being outside. So, wife and you will be at 20 years in October. Awesome. We got married in 2000 of July, so our 21-year anniversary will be in July. And we got together about 98. Yeah, 1998. So, we got a second sage in here. Let's see. Donnie Luke, 20 years past March. Don't feel a day over 50. You know, you get to a certain point, and it's hard to imagine your life without. You know, that's the kind of relationship you want. It's the kind that, like, your brother and sister are never going to leave you, right? And, you know, except if they pass away. You know, they're just there. Love them or hate them, they're there, right? You kind of want that in a spouse as well. They're just going to be there. You know, regardless of what happens, what comes over, what situation arises, you know, you'll always be together, because good relationships take work to build, but they also take work to maintain. And that's the key is you know, I watched this movie, I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of these, like, it was on Netflix, and it's about this couple that experiments with an open relationship, right? And there's a character in that movie that has the kids, and he's been married for a while, and he's the guy from one of the CSI movies. I can't remember his name either. But he, you know, there's a line in that movie. The movie's kind of trash, but there's a line in that movie, and the message at the end of the movie is actually pretty cool. But there's a line in that movie where he goes, you know, he goes, I was talking to my grandfather, you know, he was married for 65 years. And he goes, what's the key to love? And he's like, love is simply two people that won't give up on each other. Simple as that. And I firmly believe that. So, let's see. Thor and Thunder Trucking, GNC Family Trucking. Oh, it's Chucky's birthday, I've heard too. So there you go. Chucky, happy birthday to you. So, AJ Jones, morning. Let's see. Best type of Yeti is free. It is. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Jeff. Let's see. Everybody's yelling at Jeff. Have a happy birthday, making him feel old. He does look good at 82, doesn't he? I imagine there are days when he actually does feel 82. Let's see. Salty's in the house. I already said, hey, Trashy Trucker Show. Bob G. Robert Daniel. Hey, brother. Nothing Witty. Happy birthday, Chucky. Happy birthday, Chuck. Hope the brother is doing better. And then I got to give a shout out to Christian Trucker, who fell out of his truck the other day, and luckily he didn't break any ribs. So Christian Trucker, if you're watching, don't do that. That's my advice for the day. Don't fall out of trucks. I've done it. Don't do it. I got lucky. I didn't get hurt. I don't even know what I did. I think I missed a step or something. I was moving stuff out of a truck. So let's do it. We'll do a carnivore update, and we'll do a truck update. Which guys do you want to hear first? Put a comment in the thing. Tell me if you want to hear a truck update first, or a health update. 3 points of contact, always, always. I think what it was I got on the first step, got on the second step, and I was like rummaging for something because I wasn't getting completely in the truck. And I'd forgotten that I was on the second step, so I went to step down like I was going on the ground. That's where pavement was like this, and you know, a buddy of mine that was there, he was there. He saw it. He drove right up. Was like, dude, you okay? You okay? And luckily, my 400-pound self didn't. I think it was before I was that heavy, so I was still at Transland. So I was probably definitely over 300 at that point. And luckily, I didn't break anything. I've only broken that little chip of my ankle that one time a couple of years ago, and that was when I was at my heaviest. So, you know, that's another reason why to take care of yourself is if you're too heavy, if you fall, man, it hurts. I was delivering at Coca-Cola in Joplin, Missouri, and I fell. I tripped on a safety cone of all things. It was laying on the ground, and I tripped on it. The safety cone did not do its job, and man, I fell. My clipboard went everywhere. It was pretty embarrassing. Nobody was around. Nobody saw it. I'm pretty sure there's a camera, you know, security camera that caught it. You know, and I'm sure I'm the butt of some security guard's joke, but beyond that, you know, it was like I brushed myself off. I had like some marks on my elbow, and I went in, used their bathroom, cleaned it out, you know, and we're good to go. But I thought about that. I was like, man, what if I was like 400 pounds back when I'd spray my ankle? This would be a bad spot to fall because I'm at a customer. I'm not at home. You know, I don't have the luxury of my wife taking me to the ER, you know. So try falling out of a cab over now. That really sucks. I bet, Robert. I remember one of the cab overs, you were allowed to kind of get up and look at the Joplin Truck Show, and I forgot how much more involved it is to step in and out of a cab over. And as a kid, my dad was always like, be very careful, you know, when I got in and out of the truck, but it was definitely more involved to get in and out. Like, there's a lot of truck drivers that wouldn't be able to drive a cab over right now simply because of the steps and the room that you have inside the truck and their size. Think about that. Think about what old trucks used to look like and what it took to climb into them versus what we have now. Could the body style of the average truck driver today handle a cab over from 30 years ago? Big Houston finally got some motivation to make a video. James says truck. Rick says health. I fell out a couple of weeks ago, and the first thing I did was look around to see if other drivers saw me. Right? It's like, first, okay, I'm not hurt. Okay, and then second is like, all right, who saw me? You know, and wouldn't that be like you have some guy like, hey, dude, I'm gonna put you on Bonehead Truckers or something, you know? So Big Rig CO, hi Steve. Yes, it is. I did that when I first started driving. We had cab over trucks back then. Yep. Nope, rig is down, waiting on parts. See, Big Rig is all, he's copying me. His truck's down too. I'm sorry to hear about your brother there, Charles. Hope everything gets better for you there. You know, I want to drive, the only cab over I've driven was a school bus. You know, when I was training to drive a bus, they made you drive the oldest, crustiest bus that was in the Springfield fleet. And it was an old cab over that we had it was a manual. It wasn't even an automatic. Now, I don't know about you. I don't mind shifting, but when it comes to city traffic, I hate shifting. And to do that in a school bus with all the stops, that would be stupid. I don't think I can make it as a truck driver 30 years ago. The only cab overs that these drivers could drive is the Argosy from Freightliner. Argosy, yeah. Well, the new cab overs like in Europe, there's no really. They seem to be more. Oh, well, I mean, a lot of the cab overs in Europe, the bunk is upstairs, but I know that the K200s in Australia, they're a lot more driver friendly. As far as I think you could be a bigger guy in Australia and drive one of those. Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't, like you go in a Volvo 870. It's like going in your living room, right? You got the chair and the couch. Like a W9 studio. You got the couch. Cab over. It was like, okay, climb on the doghouse and put your pants on while laying down. Kind of thing. There was no stand. Unless you had the one that BJ and the Bear, the K100 or whatever. Unless you had a raised roof. You weren't standing up in a cab over. So here's the update on the truck. We have 1 for 1. So obviously, you guys don't care which way I start. So I thought it was the kingpins. It's not the kingpins. It is actually something to do with the tire. But they said that my tie rods were shot. So we're getting those replaced. And then there's some spring tensioners on the rear. I think it's the tensioners. I could be wrong, but something in the rear that's also shot that needs to be replaced. So that plus the alignment plus what they're doing with the tires, the bill's going to be around $2,700. So that's what I'm dealing with now. I don't know when or how long it's going to take to be fixed, but I'm not in a hurry to get the truck back because the family member matters that I'm dealing with. Those of you who know me privately know what I'm dealing with, and I appreciate your guys' thoughts and stuff like that on that. So, are these pressing matters? The tie rods, yes, but I went ahead and just had everything done because, look, when you have a truck that's 600,000 miles, close to 700,000 miles, a lot of, and Thomas Wilson will tell you, a lot of, tension rods, tie rods, tensioners, a lot of the stuff to do with, with the rubber and metal and plastic underneath is starting to wear. And, hubs, axles, everything, torque rod bushings, exactly. And so, those are all things that have to be addressed. That was a majority of my work on my Peterbilt the first year I had that truck, because that truck was already at 580 when I bought it. No, it was 560 I think when I bought it, and when I sold it or traded it, it was at 850. When you do engine rebuild, everybody thinks about engine rebuilds and DPF rebuilds and one boxes and all that stuff, but you still have hubs, differentials, torsion rods, springs, brake chambers. You still have all that stuff, and luckily you don't have to go to a dealer for those kind of things. You can go to an independent shop where you can save some money. And the shop that I took to, I've been using them since my Peterbilt. This is the first time they've done work on this truck, but they were my Landstar go-to for my 120-day inspection. That's how I discovered them. Ian Hanna, if you guys remember that guy, he was one of the early Landstar YouTubers that got out of the game, and he's the one that recommended me because he used to live in this area. He used to live out of Ozark there, and because he and I talked a lot because I asked him what he did coming out of the house, for Landstar, and he kind of gave me a few strategies, but he didn't give me all of the secrets. But he did give me the one of the shop. You know, and Scott SRO has used this guy, and Big Rig CEO has used this guy. So, and they've had good results as well. So, you know, it's not your $150, you know, 3-axle alignment, one and done kind of guy. You know, he's now everybody talks about Chad up there in Kansas City. I forget the name of the company for alignments. This is like Springfield's version of that guy. So the horrible wobble in the front end was a 3-month-old steer that bad. Now waiting on new brake adjusters. Oh wow, okay. 3-month-old steers. And that's the other thing. Is, you know, how hard is it to get your tire warranted? You know, how easy, you know, is it? And if you can prove that the tire has a manufacturing defect, you know, that's good and all, but it's not like they're going to give you cash right then and there. So always have, you know, you can buy new steers. That's the thing. People are like, well, I bought new steers, so I won't need them for another year. No, you can have an alignment issue. You can have something that comes along where the tire could be just as bad itself. And so just because you buy tires doesn't mean you're free and clear for a minute. You know, I can't tell you that how many times I've had to change steers prematurely. I get really good life out of my steers usually, and the only 2 steers I've used in the last 6 years or 7 years now, because we're on my 7-year anniversary, we'll talk about that, is Michelin and Goodyear. You know, I use the Goodyears, the same ones that Schneider uses. That was what was on the truck when I bought it. That was what I started putting on the Peterbilt because I got a better discount with those, and I haven't had any issues. A lot of people will gripe about Goodyears, but I've had no issues with them up until recently. So, but I've also had issues with Michelins. I've had brand new Michelins go bad just like that because of manufacturing or whatever, or because of an alignment issue. So, you know, you might not need an alignment now, but to have that done could be preventive maintenance later. So the things that I'm having done to the truck now, instead of putting it off, this could essentially save me money on tires later, because I just bought all new drives, so I don't want them getting screwed up. So that's trucking, absolutely. MD Alignment, thank you, John. MD Alignment there in Kansas City. I've heard really good things. I haven't used them. I think Thor used them. And I know that he's really popular with the Schneider guys and Landstar guys. So I've had a great experience with Love's tires. They will swap them out free. Well, that's good. Said it would take 1 month to maybe get money back. Yeah, see? Your tires wear like iron, Snorelord facts. So, you know, and it was a bad belt, right? Big Rig? So, now, so far, I haven't heard if they're waiting on parts on my truck. It seems like the shops like to call at the most inopportune times. I was at the grocery store yesterday buying some meat whenever they called. And I just said, just do it all. It was an affordable price, you know, and you know, I'll write a check, boom, it's done. So had to replace a hub that was replaced 7 months ago. Oil is leaking through the cast aluminum. Tire had a bad belt. I switched to 16 ply. MD alignment worked great, says Thor. I think that's what he meant to say. Look, you know, and I remember there was an episode of the life of Snorelord. I was in Georgia. It was recently. It was like the last time I went to Georgia. No, the time before that. Anyways, it was recent. And I got on a road that I shouldn't have been on. So I had to do a U-turn. It was a legal U-turn, but it was a tight legal U-turn. And I had to bump a curb on the front end. And I was like, that probably wasn't good for my alignment. So, recommended PSI during summertime for your tires. Ogar, that is an argumentative debate, but I've had more than one person tell me that 107 And why such an odd number? Because it allows for the expansion of heat, and it puts you at 105 if it gets cold. So I'm usually 105, 107 is where I'm at. It's hard to judge, you know. If you're driving the desert all the time and dealing with that, you might want a different pressure. If you're up in Maine right now, you might want a different pressure. So that's dependent on what your needs are. But so I don't have the scientific answer for that, but I know that several mechanic people have told me that 107 is a good way to go because it allows you room to breathe on both sides. Might be covered by parts warranty, no labor covered, right? 16 ply steer, 16. But the recommended is 110 all the way around. You know, some guys do 120. It just depends. You know, if you're too low, it affects tire wear. If you're too low, you could have a blowout. But if it's too high, then that could be a problem too if it gets hot. So if you feel look, let's say you spend the night in Flagstaff where it got down to 50 degrees. You could easily drive 3 hours and be in 90-degree weather if you're going south to Phoenix. That can literally happen in the course of just several hours. And so you need some flexibility there, you know, if you come across a lot of situations. There's been times where I was in Georgia, and by the end of the day, I'm up in, you know, Indiana, you know, where it's like, 30 degrees. You know, in Atlanta, it was, 80. So, I mean, you definitely have to account for temperature on a lot of times. So, but 110 cold is decent. That's the other thing. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll do the Love's tire pass, but if I spend the night at the Love's, then I'm not in a hurry. That usually works best. But a lot of people are like, well, you can't, you got, when you do a pre-trip, if you tap the tire, I use a claw hammer to do that. Well, how do you know what the tire pressure is if you're using a hammer? Well, you go by sound. I've been out here long enough that I don't have to stick every tire with a gauge, but if something sounds off, I'll put a gauge on it. And that happened to me last week. I was checking the trailer. There's one tire that went, eh. So like, huh. So I took a stick to it, and sure enough, it was low. It was like 95. So I went and aired it up, and that was a pain in the butt because it took me 3 fuel island pumps that had a decent air pump to pump that up. And I just know that if I would have kept doing that, if I would have kept running that tire, it probably would have blown eventually, especially if it was under a heavy load. Little White Coach, what's up? Let's see. And I would definitely go with 16 ply on steers all day and every day. Every single time. That was a Snyder requirement. That was no issue with me because especially if you're going to be over 12, you have to have an axle rated for over 12, but you also have to have a tire rated for over 12. So, I had Illinois actually check my tire rating because I was in a T660, which it was always heavy on the front. I was always pushing 12.8, 12.9, same thing with my Peterbilt, and they actually stopped me on the scale and came out and looked and made sure I had the right tire, or else they were gonna nail me right there. So, morning, Steve. Air pressure and NIFTA cause more arguments than Budweiser. Look, it's hard to talk about anything online without an argument. Whether you're talking about, anything really. You especially in trucking, truck drivers argue about everything. brand of trucks, brand of tires, brand of software you use. Hey, cat. What's up? Those birds are mad at the other cat. And these birds are mad because these cats are out here. And yesterday I let one of the cats out and it was about to pounce on a bird and I stopped it. Damn carnivores. Speaking of carnivore, that's a nice segue. It's not the ply that holds the weight, it's the air pressure. Thomas Wilson, I'm just going by how if you want to hold 13.2, regulation says you have to have a 16 ply tire. That's what I'm going by. I understand that the air pressure holds the tire. I'm just going by what I've been told. Okay? See, I caused Thomas to get all upset. Which is why I try not to give trucking advice, because you can't make everybody happy. When I ran MSW as a heavy haul, we ran 16 ply tires and we ran 110 in all of our tires and never truly had a huge problem unless we got something jammed into them from the transfer stations or dumps. There's no arguing. I have an awesome beard, thank you. Let's see, Thomas, do you not think the ply allows more air pressure, hence 120 versus 110? I'm just thinking from a safety standpoint that, once you get the air pressure that works for you, 16 ply is better than 14 ply. More layers is always better. If you get any skinnier, your head won't match your body. Bobblehead. I really haven't lost a whole lot of weight. I'm down to 267, so that's only 12 pounds in the last, what day are we on? 28, I think. 28 days. Snorelord. I like that. LBC, I like that. Man, I should have videotaped my shopping cart at Sam's yesterday. I had salmon, I had steak, I had hamburger, and I had what was the other thing I bought? Chicken. I finally found some pre-cooked chicken breasts that aren't doused in dextrose and MSG. It was literally chicken and water, and that was it. So 120 recommended. I found the weight you lost. Hello, Gar. All right, so that's the carnivore update. We're still doing good. The next few days are going to be a challenge because my sister's in town and she loves to cook, right? And when people from out of town cook food for them and you don't eat half of it, they take offense to that. The other day, my wife and I were running errands, and we went to this place called Sam's Eatery. I think I mentioned this in the last live feed, but who knows if you were there or not. And you get all these options grilled, right? And I got that, but it comes with like as a garnish, like grilled peppers and onions, and it had like lettuce and pickles and all this other stuff as garnish, right? I didn't eat any of it, even though that's normally what I would eat, because I strictly wanted to be vegetables, no vegetables on this deal. I do think that whenever I come out of the 40 days, I think I will start introducing some vegetables in the diet, but it'll be more of what they call a ketovore approach. Because I do miss, the grilled peppers and onions would have been nice. My wife has made me some pickled eggs that are doing their thing, and by the time I'm ready to that, she's put some onions in that, so that'll be good. Everybody asks about the plumbing, if you get my drift. That's all working normally. There's been, with the exception of a day or two where there was maybe too fast of plumbing going on, there was one day of that. Once my body adjusted, I was fine. And if you eat too much cheese, that'll cause the other problem. So you have to limit your dairy and cheese. And so in the beginning, I didn't do any dairy except for the heavy whipping cream. And then the second week, I think I overdid it on the cheese because I missed cheese. And so now we're finding the balance. And that's the key. You have to do it long enough to find the balance. You know, a lot of people are like, I've been keto for 4 days and I'm not seeing any effects. And well, no, you got to give time for your body to adjust. You know, you didn't become overweight overnight. You didn't become unhealthy overnight. It was a long process. You know, now with that being said, once your body adjusts and you're like 30 days into a keto thing, and then you go to cheat, your body tells you. I was watching Cassius King yesterday, and he mentioned that he was doing really good, and then he had some Taco Bell, and his body told him, you know, that's the thing, is when you go off the rails, your body will tell you, and it's just a matter of listening to your body at that point. And you know, and we've been injected with this bad food and this social conditioning for so long that we've forgotten how to listen to our bodies. And when you eat a diet as clean as carnivore, you start to listen to your body. You reset the clock. You reset the computer program. It's a reset, is what it is. It's a full body reset. Because think about when you were a baby. What did you have? You had mother's milk. That's all you had. That's all you consumed. All your nutrients came from that. You know, now you got baby formulas with all these soy proteins and everything else, and you know, there's some debates that we can get into whether that's healthy or not. But the reality is that our bodies are designed to have certain things in the beginning that are purely just Mother Nature. So when you go back to that, it is a huge reset. Hey, my wife said she's still waiting on that recipe for keto bread and anything else keto. Oh, okay, Thor, I forgot. I'm sorry. I will send you a link. Make sure you send me a text after this live feed to remind me, as long as you're not driving. So, Ralph Lodo, good morning. Ply holds weight, not air pressure, although higher ply will allow more pressure. There you go. Cascade has a mechanical background as well. And again, we're having a discussion about air pressure, which is why I didn't want to answer that. Look at the number on the tire for the tire that you have and just do that. So there you go.
I can speak to that almond bread if you want.
Okay. Thor, are you listening?
Okay, 1 egg. Beat it up. 3 tablespoons almond flour, 1 tablespoon oil, high quality obviously, 1 tablespoon water. That's it. I think some people put some baking powder in it if you want to give it some lift, but I don't, and he likes it fine. I like it like that, so that's it.
There you go.
Easy peasy.
Oh, how long do you microwave it for?
About 1.5 minutes, but if it doesn't look done, you can always do another 30 seconds, but I mean, depends on how strong your microwave is, obviously. So,
yeah. So
almond flour.
Almond.
So.
And the oil you want, like either olive oil or butter even works. So.
Oh yeah, melted butter works. So. And it's good. And you put some cream cheese on top of that. It's really good. And if you're doing like, if you're not carnivore, if you're just keto or whatever, or even if you're not keto, it's still good. Cream cheese and like blueberries, and then it tastes just like French toast. It's really good.
Yep. There you go. Guys, you have no idea. She hates cameras, so that's a big deal. You've just been blessed by a rare moment in history. It is. It's great. She makes it for me all the time. I mean, not lately, obviously, but that's the other thing I'll probably go back to is something like that. And There's another recipe that Scott SRO has told me that you can actually like. It involves psyllium husk, where you can actually, you know, you can toast it and everything else. You know, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. So. I don't know. I don't think I've ever tried to toast it. It's definitely a wet bread. It's like trying to toast. It's like trying to toast French toast after it's, you know, it probably could be toasted, but it would take forever. So you've never seen her on camera before. She's made small appearances here and there, and if you go back to my old catalog of videos, I think I did a thing on the Joplin Truck Show. She's in that, and in fact, all the families in that one. She's just very camera shy. She thinks it's bizarre that I like doing this, like get on YouTube and like, hey, what's up? You know, she wants no attention to herself. You know, you see a lot of women, a lot of men too, but a lot of women that get on Instagram and they're like, now they're supermodels, right? She definitely does not have that gene about her, even though she's very beautiful. So, I am. I'm very blessed, John. I am. You know, and she's one of the inspirations of why I wanted to lose weight, because, you know, why should she have to suffer a 400-pound me? You know, that can't be pleasant. You know. Corned beef and eggs. Awesome. There you go. I've been doing the intermittent fasting now. I'm not eating until noon for the most part. And we're down to 2 meals a day. If I snack at all, it's pork rinds. Literally an hour before I eat dinner. And that's about it. And that's just to take a little bit of the edge off. Now, today, I'm probably going to lose about 5 pounds this week because of things that I'm dealing with at home. And I won't have time to even think about food. And that, believe it or not, it may sound weird, but it's actually kind of a good place to be, is to not think about food. It's kind of nice. It really is. Like you eat out, like, oh, I guess I should eat something, maybe, I don't know. To, you go from oh, what am I gonna have? You know, you're at breakfast wondering what you're gonna have for lunch, and at lunch you're wondering what you're gonna have for dinner. You go from that to oh yeah, I guess I should eat something today. Yeah, I'll grab a burger patty, you know. So the most standard tire pressure is 110, which is what I usually do. If you like cabbage, fry it up, bacon, it's really good. John, one of my favorite keto recipes is I'll take a ton of cabbage. You know, if you buy the pre-cut cabbage at Walmart, I'll buy 1 bag of that and 1 pound of hamburger. Mix it all up, it's good. Throw some bacon in there. And let the grease and the juices do its thing. Add some butter and salt and pepper, and you're good to go. That's a good keto. And then you can make several meals out of that. You know, there's been times where I'll do like 2 bags of cabbage and 2 pounds of hamburger, and that'll be my meals for a couple of days. You know. Yeah, I keep getting YouTube notifications. I had another stroke on Saturday, still in the hospital. What is the diet that you were talking about? Ralph Lodo. You know, thoughts and prayers to you. Let's hope you get better. I'm doing the carnivore way of eating. I'm eating nothing but meat, some dairy, eggs, and that's it. Water and coffee and tea, unsweetened tea. Add vinegar, you'll love it. Clydesdale, okay, that's a good idea. Grafton, what's up? Food is fuel, and that's it. It must be in his front pants pocket. Hope you get better, faster off. Here, we'll fix the vibration. You know? There you go. No more vibration. That's one of my big fears, is to have a stroke somewhere on the road. And, my brother-in-law had a stroke a couple of years ago. That's and the thing with strokes, you don't realize you're having them. Until everybody's looking at you like, dude, you look weird. What's wrong? I believe Hensley had a stroke. So I mean, you guys, I mean, that's a big fear of mine. Yes, absolutely, you can have fish. John, some lemon in your water. It's a nice change for you. Yeah, Clydesdale, I'm not opposed to the carbonated water that has the flavoring. It's an acquired taste. Remember, I was hanging out with Harold, and I told him, he wanted to get off soda, and I told him to try it, and he absolutely hated it. But I think he liked a couple of flavors. That bubbly isn't bad, but you can overdo it on the carbonated water. The LaCroix, I would avoid that, because they got caught putting things in their water that they didn't list, and they kind of got, they're kind of like that naked drink, those juice drinks that they have. They got caught. Oh yeah, there's formaldehyde in it. Oops, sorry, forgot to list it. But I'm trying to avoid anything with natural flavorings. You ever look at the label and think, well, why does chicken need natural flavoring? Well, how do you get natural flavoring into a bottle of Mountain Dew? I mean, what are the natural flavors? That's a key word for some kind of chemical. Look, soda is one of the worst things. I've watched people. There was a friend in my circle that got a 3-month card, and he says, Steve, I need help. And so I asked him how much soda he drank, and it was outrageous. It was outrageous. And within 1 week of just going down to one soda a day, he lost weight. And within I forget how many days, he was down 15 pounds, just like that. I've gained 5 pounds just like that back in the days when I would drink soda. If I got a Mountain Dew kick, it was over with. Mountain Dew is very addicting. That yellow dye that they put in, it's not good for downstairs, either. So think about that. Doesn't help in the bedroom performance. That yellow dye is toxic. My brother-in-law had a stroke 10 years ago driving his truck, hit a construction. Yeah, that's the thing. If you have a stroke while driving, that's it. You could kill a family. Some happy family that's going on vacation, and you kill them because you have a stroke. I mean, that's a true danger out there. Would you recommend starting out with keto or the carnivore diet? I really like vegetables. John, the thing about carnivore is you can't really just crash course into it, in my opinion, and stick with it. So the way I got into my weight loss is I would start with a paleo approach. Anything natural. If it didn't have a mom or didn't come out of the ground, don't eat it. Nothing processed. No flour, no pasta, no bread, no sugar. Anything made with any kind of flour. All natural. If you can't find it in Mother Nature, you don't eat it. And then you go from a low carb approach. Now that gets in the keto range, right? So now you start off, you might, like, in my beginnings of my low carb, I still did potatoes, not French fries, but like baked potatoes with only butter and sour cream on them, things like that. A dirty keto, you're going to eat some processed meats, but the problem with processed meats is they're full of MSG and they will make you want to eat more. So, if you can clean up the processed chemicals, you'll be good to go. And then once you become, don't be afraid of fat, don't be afraid of butter, don't be afraid of olive oil, don't be afraid of avocado oil. Vegetable oils, no bueno. No bueno, okay? And you want natural fats, like the fat, we used to throw the fat away off our steak. You eat that. The fat in the hamburger, eat that. And so once you become fat adapted in your body, you're not giving your body any more carbs than it actually needs, then you can go into and then you can adjust. If you feel that you need more, you can go into a carnivore diet. But the carnivore diet is harder to adapt to if you're not fat adapted in the beginning. So, and I believe I think I am gonna do the phone call-in thing, so I can kind of give more individual advice, because what works for you may not work for somebody else. And so if you take a paleo approach towards a low carb approach, towards a keto approach, towards a carnivore approach, that's going to be more sustainable than just quitting cold turkey, depending on your personality. So, my brother-in-law, okay, we already talked about that. He's been in a wheelchair ever since. That's sad. What you reckon? Okay, I already read that. Mountain Dew is nasty. LVC, wasn't that what started you getting healthy? Not to lose weight, but for better body chemistry. Absolutely, Cascade. And that's the thing, is the weight loss becomes the side benefit. But you'll feel better, you'll think better, and you are basically cleansing yourself of certain food addictions, which is very liberating. I mean, I can't tell you, like, I was talking about this with my wife this morning. Isn't it kind of awesome that the deal with the next couple of weeks that I'm going to be dealing with, that I've started this carnivore thing, which has given me this newfound clarity that I got when I first went keto, that got lost a little bit when I started doing the little cheats, like the keto snacks and all that crap. There's no gimmicks. There's no magic pills. There's no supplements that can take the place of just good, healthy eating. That's it. Helping him, Anthony, is how I started researching this stuff. Get StreamYard for your phone. You have a lot of knowledge on the subject. Anthony, all my knowledge comes from 3 doctors, okay? Well, not just them, but I started off with Dr. Berg, Sean Baker, and Thomas Delore. He's not a doctor, but he practically could be one with the research he does. And then also Ken Berry. He's a big one. And then there's a video from a channel called From What I've Learned. It's in my community post. I've shared it about carnivore diet. That's some great information, because that guy was going to medical school. I believe he lives in Japan. He's a very smart individual. And then Butter Bob, I learned a lot from him. If you research Butter Bob, John, if you research Butter Bob, butter makes your pants fall off, go to that video. It's his first video, and that will kind of explain what the body has to do. So, Metaphor Man, make you lose weight fast. Met4 Man, use cauliflower rice. Yep. And look, do I miss rice? Yeah. Do I miss certain foods? Yeah. But as I get further and further along, I'm no longer a slave to this stuff. That's the thing. I don't want to be a slave to, Subway sandwiches. I don't want to be a slave to pizza. And that's essentially what you do. You break free from the reins of food slavery that we're all kind of trapped in. And that might sound weird to you. If this is all new to you, that might sound weird, but it's true. How much of your thoughts in the day are related to food? How much do you buy when you go to get fuel and you walk in and all those smells hit you? You're stressed, or you've had a tough driving day, or the guy that was in the fuel aisle in front of you pissed you off, and you go in and those smells hit you at just the right moment of emotional whatever, and then you're you, you just make bad decisions. Been there, done that. You know, there was a time, I kid you not, guys, there was a time where if I, you know, at Schneider, most of our fuel discount was at the Flying J, right? There were times when I go in the Flying J and I would get the 10 wings and a piece of pizza. I would actually do that. And that was a meal. That was being eaten while I was driving down the road. There were many mornings when I had that Flying J breakfast pizza. Now, some people think that's gross. I loved it. You know, there were times when I could sit down and eat a whole, you know, I used to get the meal for two at Popeyes with an extra biscuit, and I would eat the whole damn thing. You know, it was like 5 pieces, or it was like 5 pieces of chicken and 4 I mean, it was just ridiculous amount of food, and I would sit there and watch Netflix and be all happy and whatever. You know, that was me, guys. I was and still am a food addict. And to break the chains from that, I can't even begin. I've said this over and over. I sound like a broken record. You can't even begin to feel what that, you know, I can't even begin to describe what that feels like. Meth helps me the way up. Ratman's funny. I've seen some overweight meth heads. I mean, you've been to Springfield. I could show you around Springfield, and I'll show you some overweight meth and heroin heads there. Grafton, what's up? So, look, and notice my numbers drop whenever we talk about health, and I get it. You know, people don't want to hear that, and so I don't try to push it to you guys. You know, I do. You know, if you want to hear the message, I'm here. But if you don't want a message, we can talk about trucks. We can talk about breakdowns. We can argue about tire pressure. We can do whatever you want. You know, it's my channel. But, you know, what good is my channel if I don't have you guys in here? You know, and there are, but I do know this. I know not one, but more than one people that have lost weight, and I was an influencer. And a couple of these people have lost over 100 pounds. And I've lost over 100 pounds. Without surgery, without exercise, simply by changing what I eat. And if I can just change what I eat, and it changes my outlook in life, it changes my depression, it changes how I look at all the bullshit in the world right now. It gives me a better perception, takes my anxiety away, takes my fear away, and allows me to deal with stressful situations in a much more calm manner. That's power. That's a power that the government doesn't want you to have. That's a power that the corporations don't want you to have. That's the power that this corporatist, you know, country wants us to be. And to break free from that is just nothing short of amazing. I promise you. Once you get balance back in your health, everything else becomes a lot easier. You know, anxiety's through the roof, depression's through the roof, suicide's through the roof. And it's not because of the vid, okay? It's not because of the shutdowns. It's because of how people handled the shutdowns. McDonald's stayed open during the shutdowns. You could still get all the junk food you wanted delivered to you during the shutdowns. You could still go into a convenience store and buy all the crap that you wanted during the shutdowns. And they took away your ability to have fresh meat. They took away your ability to have fresh vegetables. Do you think that's not coincidence? So when all these things like suicide, depression, and everything else goes up because we had to shut down, that is the country's inability inability to accept that stress. And so my thought is, you need to be able to be prepared to handle anything that comes at you, whether it be a natural event, such as a hurricane or an asteroid or whatever, to a non-natural event, such as the shutdowns because of the vid. And then the vid itself. If your immune system is strong, you had a better chance of surviving that if you got it. You know, you can argue whether it's real or not all day long. You can argue whether masks work all day long, but everybody's missing the point with those arguments. That if you don't know how to cope, if you can't cope physically and mentally, you're done. That's it. You're going to do things that damage yourself or damage others. And that's the part that no one seems to be paying attention to. You know, you can sit there like, well, I refuse to wear a mask, or I want to wear a mask, and get judged for it. You know, I'll wear a mask whether or not I need to or not is irrelevant. If you want me to wear a mask, I will, and I handle that stress decent. You know, so it's anything that you can use to de-stress yourself, so you can make better decisions for you and for your family, for your own protection. You know? So, yeah, Pale Rider is not here. I hope he's okay. Government makes healthy food that's good for you expensive for a reason. Exactly, Odar. The government subsidies of corn. You think that's not on purpose? Corn, soy, and tobacco. That's what's got all the subsidies, right? Now people don't want to go back to work. Lazy people. Look, Big Houston, I don't think there's some element of there's some element of laziness, but there's also an element of anxiety. Little Dog went live. He's got an original morning coffee show. I'm going to give him whole credit that's morning coffee idea came from him. I'm going to give him full credit for that. So, but so it's not just lazy people. There's anxiety in there. There's stress in there. There's, there's, and that's the thing. We can blame it on one thing or the other, but the reality is that it's very difficult for small businesses to pay good wages to get people out of the house. That's plain and simple. So, have I ever tried the spicy noodle challenge? Absolutely not. I haven't tried any spicy whatsoever challenges. That's to me that's crazy. So, because it doesn't matter how well you tolerate it up here, it's down there that creates a problem. So, but anyways, guys, we are at an hour, and there's plenty we can talk about, but I've got things to do, and so anyways, I appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate these numbers. We got 42 people in here today. That's really great. I didn't even finish my cup of coffee. So with that being said, thanks for watching. We'll talk more. I'm not doing daily updates on the carnivore, but it's still going good, still going strong. I might have some thoughts here and there, and and so I appreciate you guys. Peace.